Varsity Media is the tri-state area's leader in sports media production. We specialize in live streaming.
Gargiulo over the middle. He's got a man. It's complete. And Ciolino. See you later. Touchdown, Massapequa.
Videography. And photography. Covering all sports at all levels. We feature aerial photography and videography, college recruiting videos, live streaming of games.
Top of the key, Smith. Why not? Wow. Bang! McKee, first down and more! Charlie McKee! Touchdown, Oceanside!
School events, graduations. Varsity Media is available to cover a game, a tournament, a season, or any special event.
Talk to us a little bit about what went through your mind, how you prepared for that to run such a fast speed.
Currently, spectators are limited at events. Let Varsity Media bring the event to your fans. Contact Varsity Media today for more information. Online at varsitymedia.net or by phone 516-403-2050.
A rivalry is renewed on this gorgeous Friday afternoon in Syosset as the undefeated Seahawks of Cold Spring Harbor come in to take on the undefeated Braves of Syosset in this League One crossover showdown. Good afternoon, everyone. Dylan Butler here. We thank you for joining us on the Varsity Media Sports Network for what is annually one of the most anticipated lacrosse games of the season. This series has been as close as you could expect. They split the last 16 games. That is until 2 years ago when on a dreary, rainy late March afternoon, Cold Spring Harbor defeated Syosset 10-9 in overtime. Jack Monfort tied things up for Syosset in that game, 4 goals. The game tying goal with 48 seconds left before Brady Stroud won it for the Seahawks with 2:52 left in overtime. Again, these two teams coming off terrific starts, and a lot of what they do, really both of these teams, starts at the faceoff X, and that's where our impact players are today. First, it's that man right there, Max Hawkinson out of Cold Spring Harbor, the junior, one of the captains of this squad, Rutgers commit. He's winning 78% of his faceoffs, 34 ground balls in the year. He's not just a Fogo, though. He'll be on second midfield as well. Hawkinson, one of the top guys in his craft, and you can see he's excited for this game as well. Syosset's man at the faceoff X is one of 2 Accardos, and that is Luca Accardo. You see him there, number 10. He's also a Division I bound junior, a Binghamton commit. He also plays on the man up. He's got that fast twitch, so he's also not just a Fogo. He's a second midfielder as well, so these guys will be battling as well during the game. Let's take a look at our starters today. And we mentioned as well there'll be several future Division I players as well. We take a look at the visitors from Cold Spring Harbor. Up front, you've got Luke Giaraputo. There's Cam Otimo and Jake Rogers, your attack line. Spear, Gagne, and Bruno are your first-line middies. Phelan, Pisano, Longo are your close D. Will is in goal, and Hawkinson is your face-off man. We'll switch it now to the starters for Syosset, and they are led by a couple of big-time Division One or future Division One attackmen in A.J. Alexander and Joe Buetti. You've got Garone as well on that attack line. Stadler, Nicky Accardo, and DeStefani, your first-line mids. Close D, Singer, Catolo, Zuleta, and in the cage you saw Greco as well. The two head coaches are very good friends and big-time competitors as well. For Cold Spring Harbor, head coach is Dennis Bond in his 22nd year, a 1984 graduate of Sewanaka. He is approaching, if he wins this game, that is win number 300 in his storied career. A tremendous career for Dennis Bond. On the other side is John Calabria, also in his 22nd year. Sachem, 1989 graduate, played for the great Rick Mercurio, the Suffolk County Hall of Famer. Mercurio coached Sachem from 85 to 2005. We'll take a quick break for the anthem, and we'll have the opening face-off when we return. You're watching this League One crossover matchup on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area's leader in sports media production. We specialize in live streaming.
Gargiulo over the middle. He's got a man. It's complete. And Ciolino. See you later. Touchdown, Massapequa.
Videography. And photography. Covering all sports at all levels. We feature aerial photography and videography, college recruiting videos, live streaming of games.
Top of the key, Smith. Why not? Wow. Bang! McKee, first down and more! Charlie McKee! Touchdown, Oceanside!
School events, graduations. Varsity Media is available to cover a game, a tournament, a season, or any special event.
Talk to us a little bit about what went through your mind, how you prepared for that to run such a fast speed.
Currently, spectators are limited at events. Let Varsity Media bring the event to your fans. Contact Varsity Media today for more information. Online at varsitymedia.net or by phone
516-403-2050.
We welcome you back to Syosset. Just about set for the start of this showdown of undefeated teams, this League One crossover matchup. Syosset, see their head coach John Calabria in the huddle there. They are at 3-0, one of the contenders certainly in Conference A this year. We've seen pretty much all those teams this year. You'd have to say Syosset right up there. You've got Massapequa as well as Farmingdale, Port Washington, a bit of that dark horse, but we saw that win they had earlier this year against Garden City. Cold Spring Harbor in Conference C, their biggest contenders, a team we'll see tomorrow in the Indians of Manhasset, but Cold Spring Harbor traditionally certainly one of the top teams in Conference C, not only in Nassau, but really the entire state. Think about this, too. Their last two seasons of play, of course, that was 19 and 18, they lost by 1 goal in the Long Island Championship to Islip and the Shoreham Wading River. Both of those teams went on to win the New York State Championship. Bond, of course, thought he had, everyone was back from that team a year ago. Obviously, the pandemic cut that season completely off, so it's a bit of a younger team for Cold Spring Harbor. Good respect there between our impact players, the face-off men. It's Hawkinson in the red. You see number 6 there, and Luca Accardo, number 10 in white. They get some last-minute instructions, and we are just about set to go on an absolute picturesque May afternoon here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Opening face-off. Hawkinson pushes it back. Ground ball picked up by Spare, so first face-off goes to the Seahawks, and they are on attack. Now, traditionally, Dennis Bond's guys will push it, and they will push it hard. A little bit different of a look this year. He says, really, we still want to push, and they push the pace certainly in practice. But the mentality is, if it's not perfect, let's push it out. Let's bring it back out to live to play again. And that's what we're seeing a little bit with this first set. There's Hunter Gagne, senior with 11 goals this year. He'll likely do a PG year next year at a prep school. You see the slide comes for him. Looks for options, still has it. He's pulled all the way out, goes down, and as soon as he goes down, there's the pole work. And we'll have a hold, so we'll go the other way. You got to give credit to A.J. Zuleta, the sophomore there. As soon as that ball hit the carpet, he was jumping right on that GB. And now it's Syosset's opportunity to get on the attack for the first time. They'll work it likely to X, and that's where the combination of Alexander and Buetti are usually operating. Quick movement there. Garone gets it back up top to Dylan Stadler, the sophomore. Stadler on Spear. Spear, Bond says, one of the best defensive midfielders in the county. He says he knows there's other names out there, but name someone who's better than him. For a shot attempt, and that's wide of the mark. It's DeStefani with the look. And that one goes wide. Back up there, so Syosset puts it back into play. Garone pushes it up top, and that's where Nick Accardo will look to operate. Accardo gets on his horse, back to X. Quick movement behind the cage. That's Alexander, 36. Kicked it back out to Stadler. Stadler, back in the program, was a kid who went to Lou High, played varsity as a freshman. He's back in the program, but certainly very well known to his teammates, and now maybe Cold Spring Harbor as well. Stadler gives Syosset the 1-0 lead. Another look. You see Stadler, just an individual matchup. Beats Spare to the outside and goes over hands. Good look at that one for Stadler, who gives Syosset the 1-0 lead. Go back to X. And this is a battle that we expect to see all day long. Ground ball picked up. 2 face-off wins for Cold Spring Harbor. You give the GB to C.J. Riley. What a good-looking specimen Riley is. He will be a special one, just a sophomore. How about that ground ball? The forced turnover. And then the GB goes the other way. So back-to-back possessions for Cold Spring Harbor get interrupted there by caused turnovers. So the Syosset defense certainly stepping up early on. There's Stadler, hands it off to the right side. Buetti, the Marist commit. To Alexander, bound for Providence. Alexander has had a flair for the dramatic of Syosset's 3 wins this year. He scored late winners in 2 of them. There he is now. Spins from around the cage. Head in a swivel. Low shot and a goal! Alexander. And Syosset takes a 2-0 lead. A.J. Alexander, you see, he's a Dodger. Generally draws doubles almost immediately. This time it's the single coverage. And he kind of caught the pole there, Phelan in between decisions. Phelan thought for a second of getting out and doubling Alexander. He looked to just stay in front of the crease, and Alexander took advantage of that one-on-one matchup. Another face-off win and a good ground ball there for Cold Spring Harbor. They've won all 3 face-offs. They've just not been able to capitalize. Here's their first attempt, and it's in the cage. Camo Timo. He pulls the Seahawks within 1. Well, they haven't had success with the patient offensive set, so why not go right away? Timo, the senior, his 6th goal of the year. Here you see it again. And it was a good job there by Benny Bruno to just sort of pull the defender out the other way. Accardo gets his first face-off win. And again, very much like Hawkinson, his opposing face-off guy, he'll stay on from time to time. Now, we wouldn't necessarily expect in a game like this those two guys to see a lot of time on second midfield, just because, again, you need to sort of conserve both of their energies for the all-important face-offs. Buetti pushes it back out. It's Alexander. There's the cutter. Spear got his stick in. Ball will go saved. That's a really good job by Buetti picking that one up. Little stutter step and a juke to get out of trouble. Another GB. Both teams tied unofficially with 3 apiece thus far. There is Stadler up top. Shot. Oh, the bar. Nicky Accardo. Surprised that net is still standing up. He hit it so hard. Nick Accardo, that is Stevens Tech commit, 3-year varsity player. There's Alexander. Spins away from the double. Kicks it in front. We've got a flag on the play. Our first man up opportunity as that ball will go out. We will see the look here. It'll be a slash, a 1-minute penalty. So Syosset will get their man up offense going. So this is a 1-minute penalty. You see 6:32 on the bottom of your clock. And now Alexander up top. Quick movement up top. Alexander! His second of the game, a man-up goal. And the Braves extend their lead to 3-1. You see Garone with the pass. Low to low for Alexander, his second of the game. And the man-up goal. So 1 for 1. That's a good start, right? Hawkinson with another faceoff win. He's been really good there. And again, he comes in at 78% from the X. 62 wins, 18 losses on the season. And look at this opportunity. Low pass. Will that count? It will. Thought possibly he was in the crease, but you got to credit Pisano, 19, the long pole with that run. The Dartmouth commit then handed off, and it looked to be 2. Luke Geraputo with the goal. Here's another look. Look at Pisano. Just a deer running up, and that's a terrific look down low to Jaraputo. So a good finish there from Jaraputo, his 7th goal of the year. Pisano's first assist. Off the face-off. That'll be a push. So we'll stay with Syosset. So you give the Braves a win there. Just underway here in this eagerly anticipated showdown. And the start of a terrific slate of games we'll have for you. We'll give you more on that as we go along here today, but it continues tomorrow afternoon with the 137th edition of the Woodstick Classic. We'll head out to Suffolk County on Monday, and we've got Northport and Ward Melville, and a lot more to go as well. Stadler, hands off. And you see Cold Spring Harbor coming away with the ball, and they will push when they can. Spear, the look, and that shot fired wide by Otimo. Spear, one of the captains as well. He started as a short stick D-midi as a sophomore. Good ball protection there by Rogers, the football and hockey guy. Bond calls him a tough guy. There's Hunter Gagne working on Stadler. .4:19 left. First quarter. Good first step. Gagne has an angle. His bouncer goes wide. Seahawks have the backup. They'll maintain possession. They work it in quickly. And that will be a turnover for Cold Spring Harbor. So if there's anything, I mean, there's always going to be something for coaches to be upset about as Syosset tries to go quickly, and they'll turn it over the other way as well. Cold Spring's been victimized by some unforced turnovers to this point. And, of course, I say that just as Syosset did the same to themselves as well. Seahawks work it to X. There's Otimo. Back out to Spear. Spear, we saw his toughness firsthand during the football season when he was forced. There's a shot and a goal. C.J. Riley on the dodge. And that's why Bond considers Riley one of those special kids. He said when all is said and done, Riley, the sophomore, his 6th goal. And look, you see the combination here. You get the size, the speed. Look at that acceleration. And the shot high, really never seeing it, was Greco. Terrific goal there by Riley. Runs on the second midfield. So going quickly was Accardo. Another win for the Seahawks. And they'll have a chance to take their first lead of the game here on this possession. Syosset raced out to a 2-0 lead. And Cold Spring Harbor has clawed back from there to tie this one up at 3. There is Riley. He's drawing the short pole for now, but you would just wonder how quickly that'll change as this game comes along. Benny Bruno steps on. Bruno dodges. Pulls it back out, switches hands, and he'll work it to X. Tries to play a 2-man game. Bruno pulls it all the way up top. That rifle from the top is in. How about that finish by Gagne? And the Seahawks have their first lead. You see it again. Bruno, the screen didn't happen. He ended up not needing it. Throws it up top, and that's a low shot that you would think Greco would want back. A great finish, though, by Gagne. And we'll have a push, and Cold Spring Harbor gets it right back. So the Seahawks, with all the momentum right now, they've scored 3 straight heading into the final 2.5 minutes of this first quarter. Pretty much every game that they've played, Bon told me last night, has been close. He said a couple times Syosset's given it to us pretty good. That included back in 2018 an 11-5 win. That was remembered certainly by the Seahawks when they bounced back in 19 with that 10-9 win. But so many of the games have been tight. Cold Spring Harbor, Bond said, has never put one on Syosset. He'd love this to be the day because, again, also, he's not a personal stat guy. He is a math teacher, though, and he was impressed, I think, with my stats and my addition work because I was able to count up through the years and saw he was approaching win number 300 if he wins this game today. A tremendous number. And later on, we'll show you some of those coaches who have won 300 more games on Long Island, and that list is ridiculous. The best of the best, certainly. Oh, Gagne loses his man, and that shot went wide. They checked off of him, and Gagne had an open look. Gagne tried out for varsity as a freshman, or a sophomore, excuse me, was injured, had a back issue. The decision was made to put him on JV, and you can see what he could do in the varsity here. Back-to-back for Gagne. He's now got a team-high 13 goals on the year. Bond calls him a matchup nightmare. Big, physical, runs downhill. And here you see it again. He's got Accardo, the shorty. Peels off of him, and look at that shot from distance. 5-3, Cold Spring Harbor. A much-needed face-off win there for Accardo. Final minute, first quarter. It's been fun here at Syosset through these first 11 and a half minutes. And there's a response. Another unassisted goal. That's to Stephanie for Syosset. And an important one there because it was a run of 4 straight for Cold Spring Harbor. And watch to Stephanie. He just kind of thought about it. Finally, the pole comes to him in Theo Torres, the long stick midi, and a good finish thereby to Stephanie. Back to the face-off X we go. And Accardo, another big win. So he's fought himself back. A couple big ones here late. Now with 20 seconds left, the Braves could equalize. Going quickly is Alexander. Spins from X. Double comes. Throws it in front. Oh, that's some terrific pole work. That was Cole Longo, the Coastal Carolina soccer commit. 6 seconds. Spinning, firing right into the stick of Spencer Will. And Will just deposits the ball downfield for the end of a tremendous first quarter of lacrosse. Syosset jumped ahead 2-0. Cold Spring Harbor scored 4 straight, and they lead 5-4 after 12. You're watching this League One crossover matchup on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Are you settling for a boring live stream? Can't see the players' uniforms? No audio? Camera not following the action? Consider a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Our announcers help tell the story of your game.
McCarthy. He's got. Oh, he's in.
Touchdown, Farmingdale.
We feature multiple camera angles, guaranteed to capture all the action.
Touchdown, Oceanside.
Plus added features like graphics, instant replay.
Yeah, the shooters are going to shoot here at Bethpage. And one of many threes on the day.
interviews, and more. It's your time to shine. And with Varsity Media, now you can. Contact us today and book a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Online at varsitymedia.net or by phone 516-403-2050.
Welcome back to Syosset. Dylan Butler here. First quarter in the books, and what a great first quarter it was. 5-4 the score for Cold Spring Harbor. When we spoke with Dennis Bond, we asked him about this rivalry. He said it's great. First of all, he said John Calabria and he are best friends in the coaching circles. He calls Calabria just a class act. He loves competing against him and the Syosset kids. He said the great thing is that we always play it early on these games, so it becomes an early litmus test, he said, for his team, because obviously Syosset is a perennial powerhouse in Conference A, so he likes to find out kind of where his team is. He said, look, in reality, does it mean much? It's a non-league game, not really, but there are certainly bragging rights on the line for two schools not separated by a whole lot here. So I said it's a fun matchup, usually pretty tight, great game. Says it's always a pleasure to play them. Look at this battle at the X, Accardo and Hawkinson. Who emerges? Still loose, a little push, and Accardo gets the ground ball. It's a great win there for him. And now Syosset looks to push. Buetti goes back to Alexander, and they'll play catch here. Buetti back up top. Stadler hands off to DeStefani. Up top is Nicky Accardo. Got Bruno on him. Accardo hands off. Polls for both teams really solid. We saw a lot of goals. Look at that diving attempt. And there's a push, so it'll stay with Syosset. Wasn't sure if that was close to him landing in the crease. Was not, though. The push happened, so Alexander gets things going. The future Friar spins, fakes the pass. He's got Patrick Pisano on him. Pisano, a Dartmouth commit. And that's one of the better aspects of the polls of Cold Spring Harbor. They all get their sticks in the passing lane. That was Caden O'Connor, the long stick midi. But the same is true of Phelan, Pisano, Longo, even Celestino, 15 when he's in there. And Celestino will see plenty of time. Bond says he's got a pretty consistent substitution pattern, and that's going to be a flag. So it'll be Syosset's second man-up opportunity. This will be a 30-second penalty here, and it is Phelan, one of the junior captains, a Lehigh commit. And we'll see it here. Just got hooking around the neck there of Garone. So Syosset, their second man-up opportunity. They are 1 for 1. Alexander scoring the lone extra man opportunity goal to this point. Accardo to Alexander, and they quickly move it now to this near side. Again, this is a quick 30-second one. There's a pass in front, and the shot attempt by Luca Accardo, and he certainly paid for it there in the teeth of the Cold Spring Harbor defense. Not much left here. And now they are even up. So Syosset now 1 of 2 man up. There's Alexander, pumps the brakes, goes back the other way. Still thinks about it. Low shot, wraps around. That one was wide. Backup was there. Syosset continues on the attack. Little stutter step. There's a great pass in front. And Alexander, you can see he's put his head up there. He just couldn't. He wanted to fire that one as soon as it went in his stick. Got caught up there. And more of that stick work. And that wasn't even one of the poles. That was C.J. Riley doing the work defensively, 21. So Spencer Will. The quick outlet trying to find Bruno, and Bruno somehow caught that one. That's a tremendous job by Bruno. Also gets in. Cold Spring Harbor with a 5-4 lead. They scored 4 of the last 5 in that first quarter after Syosset raced ahead 2-0 and then 3-1. There's a good look at C.J. Riley. Was the only freshman who made the varsity a year ago, and that was a stacked team. Yeah, obviously they didn't play, but almost everyone returned from that county championship team that lost as Spear has his opportunity bounce wide. That lost to Shoreham Wading River by a goal in the Long Island Championship. Bond had high hopes, high expectations for that team a year ago. Said, honestly, he said, we could have played our first game on our first practice day. That's how seasoned we were. There's a shot. Greco makes the save. Big hit by Riley. The physicality ramps up. Ground ball on the turf, and it will stay with Cold Spring Harbor. We've seen a little bit of everything here from Riley so far. The offense, the defense, and there's that physicality as well. And you could see this early sample size why Bond considers him to have that opportunity to be one of the special Cold Spring Harbor players. There he is again, sheds his check, works at the X. And they'll work it from there. That's Jaraputo. And they kick it up top to Will Spear. Spear beats his man, goes lefty. Sidearm shot, that was by Jaraputo. Goal line extended, that's wide. The ball stays, though, with Cold Spring Harbor. So an extended possession here for the Seahawks. And certainly in the past, we were not used to that, right? With all those studs they had, the Strauss and the Lavianos and the Licciardis, and you would see Cold Spring Harbor go 100 miles an hour and still put up 16, 18, 20 goals a game. And even in the times when they would give up one, he said it was fine. We knew we'd win the next faceoff and score again. Spear. Here comes Spear again from X. Low shot wide. And Jaraputo there for the backup. Syosset has been defending for a very long time here. Jaraputo now. Goes back the other way. Cuts inside. Jaraputo! Did he land in, though? He did. So no goal for Jaraputo. Lands in the crease. He took that inside route, but by doing so, he was right there at the crease. So good call by the officials. Jaraputo's goal called back out, and here comes Syosset looking to tie the score. Garone, they kick it back out top for Nick Accardo. Accardo on this first midfield line is that dirty worker, the guy who will do a little bit of everything. He backs up, gets ahead of steam, tries to dodge in the alley, hands it back off. They work it to X. Garone switches hands, tries to find Alexander, can't see the ball into his stick. And here's a turnover, a ground ball, and a quick transition. Spear in the middle, and he's hammered by Singer. Jason Singer. Singer brought it. Let's see it again. certainly they did Spear or he didn't help himself out there by not being able to handle the ball. Goes over the middle of the field. Singer welcomes him to Syosset, the Cornell-bound senior close D. And a good job by the officials, too, just not calling that. It's not a foul. It's physical play, and that's what we love about lacrosse as well. A lot of times you'll see a big hit over the middle called just because of maybe the reaction in the stands or seeing a guy lay prone. But that is, again, part and parcel with this sport. There's Bruno. Switches hands. And we've got a timeout here by Bond, and we'll take it with him as well. 4:36 left in this second quarter. Cold Spring Harbor with a 5-4 lead in this League One crossover showdown on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Now is the time to promote your business on our broadcasts.
Now Farmingdale will fire and find the back of the net.
Top of the key, 4-3, good.
With viewership in the thousands, your company will get the local attention it needs. Best of all, we offer affordable rates. High school sports online audiences are growing. Take advantage by advertising with Varsity Media.
Hands off, three-point shot is up and in. You back him back 3 yards, it doesn't matter. Touchdown, Freeport.
Contact us today, 516-403-2050, varsitymedia.net.
We welcome you back to Syosset High School. Dylan Butler here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. There's a good look, or we did have one a second. He ducked out of our shot. It's Dennis Bond, the head coach at Cold Spring Harbor in his 22nd season at Sewanaka. And what a job he's done throughout the years. He's a guy who, again, we mentioned, if they win this game, he enters the 300-win club. And what an exclusive group that is. Here's a look. It starts at the very top with the legendary Joe Cuso and continues on. Jack Moran, of course, still a current coach at Chaminade. And there you see the list. Scotty Craig at West Islip, Maltasante at Oceanside. The list goes on and on and on, and Bond has an opportunity to join that group. What a group that is if he wins this game. And knowing how competitive Bond is and the friendship, but also the friendly rivalry he has with Calabria, I think he'd love to get that win here today, certainly. And Calabria would like nothing more than to congratulate him on win number 300 the next time he plays. He doesn't want that to happen here this afternoon. There's Riley. Riley, the specimen. He's got Jack Hine on him. Hands off. There's a flag. It's going to be on Hine, and there's flags everywhere. So Cold Spring Harbor will have their first man-up opportunity. We will see the call. I believe it was on Hine after Riley made the run past him. We'll have the call here to the table. It'll be a cross check on Jack Hine, 1-5, the defensive midfielder. So first man up opportunity for Cold Spring Harbor. Syosset to this point, 1 of 2. Otimo hands off. They'll go the other way to Spear. Riley. Otimo. They just work it around the perimeter, looking for options. Riley thought about it, hands it back off. Now they go. Spear. Hands off. There's a shot and a goal! What a finish by Geraputo! Geraputo, the man-up goal. His second of the game, an 8th of the season. Here we see it again. Steps in again. They play off him. Some miscommunication there by the Syosset defenders. They slagged off, and Giarputo took that space given to him and buried the man-up goal. Ground ball picked up. We'll have a push. And not liking that call one bit was Luca Catolo. So Gagne hands off. Can Cold Spring Harbor make it back-to-back goals and get their largest lead of this game? There's Giarputo to Riley. They push it all the way up top, and that's where Gagne will go. Gagne loses man. Gagne swims around the cage off the side netting. Ball still loose. Ground ball picked up, and that's Singer. Singer, a terrific pull, one of the best defenders that they've had here in Syosset. And Calabria will call the timeout, and we'll take it with them as well. 2:07 left in this first half. It's been a good one. Cold Spring Harbor leads Syosset 6-4 right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Are you settling for a boring live stream? Can't see the players' uniforms? No audio? Camera not following the action? Consider a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Our announcers help tell the story of your game.
Here's that bubble. He's got. Oh, he's in.
Touchdown, Farmingdale!
We feature multiple camera angles, guaranteed to capture all the action.
Touchdown, Oceanside!
Plus added features like graphics, instant replay.
Yeah, the shooters are going to shoot here at Bethpage, and one of many threes on the day.
Interviews, and more. It's your time to shine. And with Varsity Media, now you can. Contact us today and book a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Online at varsitymedia.net or by phone 516-403-2050.
Here's a good look at John Calabria in his 22nd season at the helm, a Sachem guy. That was when Sachem was just Sachem. It wasn't the two schools. It was just the one. And what a terrific player he was as well, and a great coach. Both of these teams have standout, like high-level Division I players. For Calabria, it's Mac O'Keefe, one of almost 150 collegiate players that he's seen come through his program. All O'Keefe did in his time at Penn State was become the NCAA's all-time leading scorer, bypassing Garden City's great Justin Gutterding. Spinning and firing, and what a response there. It's Steven DeStefani. His second of the game pulls Syosset within a goal. DeStefani with the finish. You see it again. Spins on the poles, fires, and gets his second. So 6-5, we're going again. The way the battle at the X goes, and that one was shoveled backwards. Ground ball picked up. Syosset wants a flag. Buetti, though, loses it. And it will be an over and back, so Cold Spring Harbor with the ball. So DeStefani, or DeStefani, I keep butchering the poor guy's name. My apologies. Well, the call was Clock was stopped. And we'll have a conversation among the officials. It's 1:18 on the game clock. Let's see if they leave the time. Bond was funny in our conversation. He said to his guys who have not played Syosset before, if you think I'm a nut, wait till you see Calabria. And he said it in a kind way. He said, look, we're both ultra competitors and we really get after it. He said, but a quick note, he said, is me and John as coaches, that's not who we are as people. It's just our coaching personas. As there is Riley. A minute left. Will the Seahawks hold for one? What we do know is that they'll talk it over here with 43 seconds left. We'll stay with this sideline, and there you see Bond clapping things up. The funny thing for Cold Spring Harbor this year, too, he's got arguably or not arguably, he said really his smallest roster in years. There's like 26 guys on the Cold Spring Harbor roster. And he said, really, that means in our practices, he goes, I rarely see my whole team. He's got Christian Lynch and Paul McDermott as his assistant coaches. A lot of times they'll each have like 13 guys on each side, and then he kind of rotates between the two ends of practice. So if there's like a 6-on-6 game going on, and he kind of likes to go between. When they had 4 coaches, it was a little bit different, but obviously now they've just got the 3, and there is a good look at Dennis Bond. A math teacher by day and one of the winningest lacrosse coaches by, I guess, late afternoon or so. State championships, and again, they had an unbelievable run just a few years ago where you've got Laviano and Strau and Licciardi, and Laviano just doing his thing in a big way for the University of Virginia. NCAA tournament there starts tomorrow. The field of 16 in D1. The women started today. Big win for the Stony Brook women today. Congratulations to Joe Spallina and the Seawolves on their opening win at Laval Stadium. So off the timeout, 43 seconds left. Let's see what Cold Spring Harbor has dialed up. Ball in the stick of Will Spare. Spare, just that ultra competitor. He said it's going to be hard to keep him off the field. C.J. Riley, the future, the sophomore. Beast mode. Look at the size of Riley. Draws the double. Cuts it back up top. Spare, turns, lefty. Goal! Will Spear makes it 7-5 for Cold Spring Harbor. I think that's the way certainly Bond liked it dialed up, right? Riley draws the double. That means that Spear had an opportunity once he spun, cut it to his left, was able to get the finish. So Riley credited with the assist. Back to the faceoff X we go. 19 seconds is an eternity in lacrosse. Can we get one more goal opportunity? Ball caroms out into the defensive end of Cold Spring Harbor. Quickly on the ball, and look out. Here come the Poles. Pisano, hands off, the extra pass. Oh, big save by Greco right at the buzzer. A huge one by Joey Greco, the senior. He will play at the IMG Academy in a postgraduate year next year. And that one, let's see how big that one's going to be with it being 7-5. You can see right here how quickly Cold Spring Harbor went from defense to offense, the extra pass. And there's the attempt. It was low, and Greco made the save and threw a little push as well, Jake Rogers' way. So great first half of lacrosse. We saw momentum go both ways. And at the end of 24 minutes, it's Cold Spring Harbor with a 7-5 lead. We'll take a break. We'll get you some first half stats and more. You're watching this League One crossover showdown on the Varsity Media Sports Network. We welcome you back to Syosset. Hey, that's some of the future Varsity Braves, right, out there during halftime, and certainly a great lacrosse culture here in Syosset. Same is true of Cold Spring Harbor as well. Two great lacrosse communities, and here are your first half stats. You see the shots pretty close. 15-13 for Syosset, 4 saves for Joey Greco, especially that big one at the end. Ground balls in Cold Spring Harbor's favor. Faceoffs are close. We thought that would be a good matchup. It's 8-6 there, and 1 for 2 on the man-up for Syosset, and Cold Spring Harbor capitalizing on their only man-up opportunity. We mentioned our upcoming schedule, and it is a good one. It starts tomorrow afternoon from Garden City, Manhasset. The 137th edition of the Woodstick Classic should indeed be a classic. Two teams that are certainly perennial powerhouses. We go to Suffolk County, Northport, home for Ward Melville. Syosset here taking on Garden City. A little doubleheader as well on the 18th, the 21st. Garden City again against Long Beach. How about some Bayport, Blue Point, and West Islip out from my neck of the woods next Saturday? That should be a lot of fun. And then you can see the rest of our slate. Should be a really good one. You want to follow us, certainly subscribe here on YouTube. Follow us on social media for all of our upcoming games. Another quick break. Let's see if we can get a goal here before the break. No, they pulled it back out. That's all right. You're watching this League One crossover showdown right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Are you settling for a boring live stream? Can't see the players' uniforms? No audio? Camera not following the action? Consider a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Our announcers help tell the story of your game.
McCarthy. He's got. Oh, he's in.
Touchdown, Farmingdale.
We feature multiple camera angles, guaranteed to capture all the action.
Touchdown, Oceanside!
Plus added features like graphics, instant replay.
Yeah, the shooters are going to shoot here at Bethpage, and one of many threes on the day.
Interviews, and more. It's your time to shine. And with Varsity Media, now you can. Contact us today and book a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Online at varsitymedia.net or by phone 516-403-2050.
We welcome you back to Syosset. Almost set for the start of the second half. Cold Spring Harbor with a 2-goal lead. It was a back and forth first quarter. Syosset jumped out to a 2-0 lead. And then Cold Spring Harbor scored 4 straight until the first goal there you see scored by Stephen DiStefani. That made it 5-4. So Cold Spring Harbor, though, again, they took their first lead late in that first quarter, and they extended it in the second quarter. They only have one man-up opportunity, and that was a goal scored by Luke Geraputo. You see it here. Geraputo has the space, right? They checked off of him, and he buried it, took what he was given by the defenders, and made it 6-4. It was Geraputo's second goal of the game. Well, DiStefani wasn't done either. He gets his second goal, a hard work and effort as well, spinning through a pair of defenders and cutting the Braves' deficit to 6-5. Syosset had some opportunities to tie things up. And then Cold Spring Harbor, though, will go into the lead, or a second half with a 2-goal lead because of this goal. Well, that was actually the save by Greco at the very end. The goal, though, came before that by Will Spear, and that's where we are at 7-5. So, again, this is a fun little kind of matchup leading into the Woodstick, and, again, this is a friendly rivalry between these two teams. Everybody here knows each other from these squads. They either play their travel lacrosse together or they are in the same circles, but a high level of respect, but also a good amount of bragging rights on the line as well. And look, it's still early in the season, but you don't want to get your first loss, right? So it's 4-0 for Cold Spring Harbor, 3-0 for Syosset. So we go back to X, and what a battle this has been throughout between Luca Catolo, 10 for Syosset, and Max Hawkinson, number 6. First face-off of the second half goes to Cold Spring Harbor. Ground ball was picked up there well by Patrick Pisano. A little cradle rock of a celly for Pisano. You'll love the long pole goals. Pisano's second of the year. And he takes a look back as well. Look at that, just splits the fenders. He's got that green light whenever he wants it. Pisano with the finish and the celly to boot as well. Get some extra points for that one. Big start of the third quarter for Pisano and the Seahawks. They extend their lead to 8-5. Hawkinson wins it back, goes all the way back to Will. And there's Pisano again. Just lofts that pass up towards Benny Bruno, who fields across the field. And Cold Spring Harbor go back into their attack. It's Hunter Gagne. Gagne had himself a good first half as well. Hands off to Will Spear. Spear's got the short stick. Goes back across to Bruno. Nicky Accardo on him. Bruno works it to X. You get the feeling this is a big possession in this game because Syosset, even though they've got the ability to score quickly, they don't want to extend their deficit. And what a job defensively that was as well by Jack Hine. Flags. So he had a delayed penalty as well. It'll be a push as Hine pushed the pace, so he got the job done. He's also got his team a man-up opportunity when this ball, or when this whistle blows. DeStefani's got 2 on the game. Looking for another. Fakes the pass, double comes, the extra pass. They couldn't get that one more look. Great job by Pisano, the pole. Step down shot right into the stick of Will. His second save of the game. So it'll be a 1-minute penalty. It was Will Spear. There he is. We were speaking before about that football game they played at North Shore, and what a job he did stepping in at the last minute to be the starting quarterback. And I mean, he was just getting hammered throughout the game, just kept coming up, kept continuing the play. Big man-up opportunity for Syosset. They're 1 for 2 on the day. Alexander. He wants it right back, A.J. Alexander does. He's calling for it. He gets it. Low shot, and what a job getting a piece. You got to credit 27 there, Theo Torres, the sophomore, number 27, the long pole. You don't necessarily want, and you can see he's feeling it, you don't want to step in front of an A.J. Alexander shot. You'll feel that one. He does, but the sophomore doing a great job to affect that shot. Up top. Switch it far side. Alexander again. Hands off. Gets it right back. Extra pass. Quick movement around the perimeter. And we are even. Alexander with a shot that bounces wide. So 1 for 3 now on the man up for the Braves. And they continue on attack. 4 is Stadler. Works it to the outside. There's the double. Nowhere to go for Garone. Spins, continues, and what a goal! Garone! You can double him. You can triple him. But Garone finds the back of the net. Makes it 8-6. Here's another look. It looks like he's eating up, right? He's got the double. Splits it. Curls around another. A fourth check comes in. It doesn't matter. Garone with the finish cuts Syosset's deficit to 8-6. He's now got a goal and an assist in this one. Back to the X. Sweeping it along the carpet. Catolo comes away with it. And again, that's where these polls are so good for Cold Spring Harbor. They get their sticks in on passes. And here comes Benny Bruno. Pisano with the caused turnover. Bruno, the extra pass. Spinning, firing. Greco the save. Rebound is loose. And there's Catolo. This ride for Cold Spring Harbor is no joke. That turnover, nearly a turnover, it stays with Syosset. We haven't really seen the uber aggressive ride from Cold Spring Harbor, but it is absolutely mandatory for the guys up front to ride. If you're not riding at Cold Spring Harbor, if you're not hunting, as Bond calls it, you're not playing on attack. And that also was true of the best of the best. You see the same with Ian Laviano now with Virginia, showing that prowess. There's Alexander. Pulls it back out to Stadler. Stadler backs up. Looks for options. Alexander cut. Another cut. They tried to go behind the back. Nothing doing. Good work defensively. High shot. And that was wide. Stadler, the sophomore, with the opportunity. Stadler up top. Now he's got the short stick matchup. Hands off. That shot. And a late flag called. Accardo was hammered on the follow-through, and that's when the flag came. It's a cross-check, a 1-minute penalty against Pisano. So Syosset, 1 of 3 with the man up, looking to cut their deficit to 1. The lone extra man goal scored by A.J. Alexander. He's got the ball now, hands off to Garone. It's tough to find anything through all of these long poles for Cold Spring Harbor. What a pass! And Dylan Stadler with the finish. So another man-up opportunity and a huge goal for Syosset. It goes to Stadler, his second of the game. But watch this pass across. Look at that. A no-look from Garone. So Garone's second assist of this game. Another man-up goal for Syosset. They're second, and it's 8-7. Back to the face-off X. What's great about this battle is that we will see it again next year as well. Both of these Division I commits are just juniors. So we had a push there, and it will go Cold Spring Harbor's way. Midway through this third quarter, this battle of undefeated teams has certainly lived up to its hype. It has been as advertised. And again, the last matchup between these two teams back in 2019, it was game number 2 for Syosset. It was the opener for Cold Spring Harbor. And the Seahawks pulled out a 10-9 overtime win on that rainy, soggy, late March afternoon out at Cold Spring Harbor. That shot by Riley missed the mark. The winner that day was Brady Strow. His only goal of the game winner, with 2:52 left in the first overtime. That came after Jack Montfort scored the tying goal with just 48 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Riley steps down, and his shot was wide. Backup was there, and Seahawks maintained possession. There is Riley up top. 6'2", Bond figures about $185. Lefty, righty. He plays D. He plays on the wing. Plays man down and tries to get another goal. Riley. Just a sophomore. So this is his first taste, a varsity taste of this rivalry. There's Otimo. The only guy who started on the 2019 team for Cold Spring Harbor was Patrick Pisano. He started as a freshman on that team that, again, were Nassau County champions and lost in the Long Island Championship to Storm Wading River, which made it back-to-back one-goal losses in the LIC to two teams that went on to win the New York State Championship. And that's a guy who wants to be a big part of future championships as well. C.J. Riley, the finish. He extends Cold Spring Harbor's lead to 9-7. Riley's second of the game. That's now 7 on the year. He would have been a freshman on varsity last year on a very experienced team. Of course, had last season ever happened, you only had a few preseason practices, and that was about it. Pisano somehow coming away with that ball. Good job there, but a failure to advance there for Cold Spring Harbor, so Syosset gets the ball back. 4 minutes left, and here's some of that ride. Good job by Nicky Accardo to get out of that trouble. Absorbs a check, and they'll work it to X. There's Garone. Goes back up top to Stadler. Stadler. They slid well to him. Back to Alexander. Nothing doing there. Buetti! What a finish by Joe Buetti. The lefty Maris commit. A big one, his first on the day, and it's 9-8. See it again. Alexander worked it from X. Hand it off. Ethan Kotler with the pass, and a really timely finish. A big goal as well for Buetti. Buetti, we talked about 2019. He and Alexander as sophomores were the two co-leading scorers. I think Buetti had him by a point, but that showed you just what the future was for Syosset. Very much attack-wise, certainly in their hands. 3 minutes left. Syosset looking to tie the score. They've trailed since late in the first quarter. When Cold Spring Harbor went on a 4-goal run, they took a 5-3 lead Syosset had leads of 2-0 and 3-1 early in that first quarter. DiStefani to his left, spins. Here comes the slide. And they force DiStefani into the turnover. Great pull work and another defensive effort there by Cold Spring Harbor. I kind of pressed Bond into asking him what he thinks his strength is right now. And again, traditionally, you've got to certainly give credit to those attacking players, but because there's so much experience between Phelan and Pisano and Spencer Will in the cage as well, kind of thought right now defensively maybe just a little bit better in this early portion of the 2021 season. So 2 minutes left. Cold Spring Harbor with a 9-8 lead. Will Spear. Bond calls Spear a special athlete who could run forever. Says sometimes the coaches look at each other and say they just can't believe that he just did what he did. An absolute freak athlete, Bruno. A lot of these guys, part of that Cold Spring Harbor football team that reached the semifinals before that loss to North Shore. As you remember, there were COVID protocol situations. A short-handed Seahawks team took the field that day, but also it affected Bond's lacrosse team. Those first 10 days were an absolute nightmare with contact tracing, and you're losing guys because of that. Nice pass inside. Great job by the Poles. And there's the turnover. You got to give credit to the long stick midi, Devin Lefkowitz, who impacted that shot. Less than a minute left. Syosset looking to tie. Stadler to Buetti. Back to X to Alexander, and it's Garone. What you want most out of this possession is a good shot. You don't want to force it. 30 seconds. So far, it's just been working around the perimeter. 20, you got to figure they're going to go soon. DiStefani to his left. Hands off, low pass, Alexander fields it. Goes across the way. Buetti. Stadler with 6. Cuts, low shot. Doesn't get its way through. The pole got a piece, and that shot down the field was wide. You got to give credit to Garrett Garassi, the second midfielder, number 7 there, who got a piece of that shot. 12 more minutes to go. It is as close as can be. Cold Spring Harbor, a 9-8 lead on Syosset. You're watching this League One crossover showdown on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Are you settling for a boring live stream? Can't see the players' uniforms? No audio? Camera not following the action? Consider a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Our announcers help tell the story of your game.
McCarthy. He's got. Oh, he's in.
Touchdown, Farmingdale.
We feature multiple camera angles, guaranteed to capture all the action.
Touchdown, Oceanside.
Plus added features like graphics, instant replay.
Yeah, the shooters are going to shoot here at Bethpage, and one of many threes on the day.
Interviews, and more. It's your time to shine. And with Varsity Media, now you can. Contact us today and book a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Online at varsitymedia.net or by phone 516-403-2050.
Welcome back to Syosset. Dylan Butler here for the Varsity Media Sports Network. Final 12 minutes of regulation. Cold Spring Harbor leads these Braves of Syosset 9-8. You go back to the 2019 season for Syosset, a 14-3 year. losing to Massapequa in the Nassau Class A final 11-8. That was back-to-back years of losses to the Chiefs in the championship game. So 14-3, you lose to Massapequa in the final. You also started the season with a loss to Cold Spring Harbor out of 16 or 17 games. That's a tremendous season. Of course, Cold Spring Harbor had a great year of their own as well, winning the Nassau Conference C Championship before losing to Shoreham-Wading River in the LIC. Pisano. He's got a pole goal already. Oh, what a great, I was going to say great pass. It was still pretty good. And a terrific job by Max Hawkinson to hold on. Hawkinson on the ball now. He's that special kind of a guy. The funny thing about Hawkinson, who now looks like he's going to come off, Bond told us a story the other day. You know, he's a guy, he hunts, he fishes. He said the other night after the Wheatley win, he gets a group text, and it's from Max, and he's showing on a GoPro that he was swimming in the harbor. It was like 9:30 at night, and there's Hawkinson taking a night swim. Bruno. He is a character, Hawkinson, and high honors for him to be a junior captain on this Cold Spring Harbor team. Lefty rip, that one doesn't make its way through. That shot by Gagne. And Cold Spring Harbor with another opportunity now to tie if they could get past this ride of Cold Spring Harbor. Singer makes a very long run to do so. Singer continues. He gets in, gets harassed, and he hands off. Good effort by Jason Singer. And it's now Buetti. And the last time we were tied was 3-3. And that's when Cold Spring Harbor tied it. And that was our only other deadlock of this game. DiStefani gets it right back, and they'll work across field. Backing up with Stadler. Cuts inside. The extra pass after the slide comes. DiStefani turns. He's harassed. Thinking about it with Stadler. Backs off of that. DiStefani. Again, that cut to his left. Spins the other way. Tries to go high, far post. The race is on, and Alexander wins the foot race. Syosset maintains possession. Here's Alexander. Pisano was all over him. That's a fun matchup as well. Two guys know each other very, very well. Swim dodge. Back up top. DiStefani. Oh, just an errant pass. Tried to hit Buetti, but unable to hit him. So a tough one for Syosset, and now they're going to be forced to ride as well. Spencer Will has struggled a bit early going. Will has, with only a 46% save percentage, and Bond kind of figures as he calls a timeout. Not happy with Hunter Gagne. But with Spencer Will, only 46% saves, had 13 on the year coming in, but part of that is he's not been busy, their goalie, Spencer Will. So he was on the varsity as a freshman, but it's one thing when Lynch, their assistant coach, Christian Lynch, peppers you with 50 shots in pregame, but he's not getting those shots a lot in games. Now, he does get them here with this tough Syosset attack, but we've not seen these guys really have that opportunity to get into a really good rhythm. This is, of course, the first of back-to-back rivalry games that we have, and what a doozy we have coming up tomorrow afternoon from Garden City. It is the 137th edition of the Wood Stick Classic. Manhasset has the all-time lead in those games. It's been a continuously played rivalry since 1935 until, of course, last year. We look forward to bringing that one to you. We've got Ward Melville, Northport, Syosset, Garden City, so many other games. You see it right there as well. Bayport, Blue Point, West Islip. If the weather stays like this, might as well bring you more lacrosse games. It is absolutely ideal lacrosse weather. I don't have Rich Hoffman here. I can't tell you what the humidity is and the temperature, but I know it is perfect weather for lacrosse. And we've had a good one here as well through 3 quarters. It is Cold Spring Harbor with a 9-8 lead on Syosset. Should the Seahawks hold on and win this one, Dennis Bond will celebrate his 300th career win. Of course, Calabria and the Braves won't make it easy. If there's anything to be said about late game situations, Syosset of these two teams has been more battle-tested. They've had a pair of games come right down to the wire to this point, and in both of those games, A.J. Alexander scored the winner. Riley steps in, back out, and Cold Spring Harbor will start on the attack. Riley fakes the pass, now works at the X. Quick ball movement. They swing it to Jaraputo. Up top to Will Spear. Spear spins, turns, fires, and a goal! He'll limp it off, but a big one for Will Spear. 10-8, Cold Spring Harbor. Here you see it again. Spear absorbs the check, and because he spun off his defender, found that extra opportunity. You can see him there kind of feeling it a little bit, but we'll see him surely pretty soon. Clean win by Accardo. To Buetti. And there is Garone at X. Still plenty of time for these Braves. Alexander. We've seen how he can impact the game. A big part of the Braves' early season success. Buetti, goal line extended, works it back up top. There's Stadler. Calabria joked he called him the new kid. On what a pass across the crease. The look by Buetti, and Adam Giovinco unable to get that ball into the back of the net. Perhaps, well, certainly was a missed opportunity. We'll see how costly, though, it becomes. Garone back up top, and now Alexander inverted. Working on Pisano there. That pass, an errant one, scooped up by Buetti. Return to sender to Alexander. And up top is Accardo. Giovinco comes off. Back on comes Di Stefani. Nicky Accardo backs up. He's got Bruno on him. Bruno the slash. Accardo the step. The shot is saved. Flag on the play. The rebound. Buetti in front. It's a goal. Now we'll see if this flag holds up. It is a good goal. And the penalty continues. What a big opportunity this is for Syosset. Here's a look again at the goal. You see the look. That's where the foul was. There's Buetti spinning, turning, finding the back of the net. So Buetti pulls Syosset to within a goal, and the Braves are a man up for a minute. Huge face-off. And Pisano comes away. Saw him shaking his hand there on that slash. So a massive win. It's a minute penalty for Cold Spring Harbor. And there's horns, and we'll get a whistle now. A lot of confusion here at the table. Certainly, we saw, and there's Bond looking for an explanation from the table and the officials. It was a minute penalty to Cole Longo, 41. That was the initial penalty. You can see both coaches in. You know what I think might have been the issue is I think maybe they had the wrong guy in the box, Cold Spring Harbor. I mean, it's hard to tell. We're down here, but we could see the official signal that it was Longo who should have been serving the penalty. It was a 1-minute penalty after the goal. So after the conversation, we should be set to go here. It's still 6-on-5 right now for Syosset. So here we go. Riley gets on his bike. Chased by two Braves. Hands off. There's Benny Bruno. Again, just chased by two Braves. All Cold Spring Harbor looking to do here is kill off this penalty. There's the double. Bruno loses it. What a big ground ball. A huge one. And the penalty is up. So we're even as Will Spear comes back on the field. So it all starts with that face-off win by Hawkinson, and then Ben Bruno doing the extra work just to make sure that they can maintain the possession. Now we're under 5 to go. 10-9 the score. There's C.J. Riley. Hine on him. Syosset fans wanting a stall warning. Riley fakes his run. Hine is on him. Little dancing there by Riley. Riley fakes the pass, gets it to X. It is a long possession, but remember, too, they were killing a penalty for a minute. That was part of it as well. But now we're getting near 4 minutes. Riley, goal line extended. Ball's on the carpet. It's loose. And the attacker fell in the crease. Syosset ball. So here we go. We've said it. It seems like numerous times here in the second half. Syosset, the opportunity now to tie. Oh, and a late flag. That was on Jaraputo. That's going to be a slash. And DiStefani, you give him a credit as well, right? Made that look back, kind of forcing the official to make that call. Delayed penalty. Here's Alexander from X. On Pisano. Turns, fires low and wide. Here we go. 1 minute slash on Jaraputo. 3:27 left in regulation. Syosset 2 for 4 on the man up today. Dennis Bond having the conversation with Jaraputo, basically kind of like there was no need, right? It was right at midfield. He was running by you anyway. So we'll see what this means here for Syosset. Giovinco hands off. 1 minute penalty on the slash. Massive moment in this game. Giovinco, the pass. Accardo. They work it around. Alexander right back to Accardo. They play catch. Giovinco, the extra pass. Alexander. Buetti. What a save by Will. Will saw it right into his stick. Goes behind the back with his pass to Phelan. Phelan back to Will. Will fires it all the way downfield. It goes out. So Syosset will go back on attack. Still a man up. Alexander, we're even. And we are tied. Dylan Stadler. Not a man up goal, but Syosset doesn't care. The sophomore, Stadler. And you see the look. Give Alexander the assist. So Stadler, third goal of the game. We are tied. 2:21 left in the fourth quarter. Again, back in 2019, this one needed extra lacrosse for Cold Spring Harbor to win that one. That was 10-9 for the Seahawks. Huge face-off. Accardo the win. It's loose, though. Pisano battles. Still loose. Scrum. Who wants it? Syosset comes away. And no, we'll go the other way. Failure to advance. 10-10, under 2. Flag on the play. Will Spear gets it back. Gagne, Cold Spring Harbor will not be in any hurry here. They know that the penalty is on Syosset. They can take their time here. Riley. Essentially, you could hold for the last, and then you'll be man up in overtime. Riley goes to X. Jaraputo. Bruno. Dodging from up top. Back to X. And Syosset's got to be careful. You can't be too aggressive defending here. A minute left. That shot wide of the mark by Riley. That stops the clock, and that starts the penalty time as well. So this will be a minute penalty with 57 seconds left in the fourth quarter. There's the call. It's a slash, a 1-minute penalty. And here we go for Cold Spring Harbor. The math is simple. 57 seconds left. It's a minute penalty. Both of these teams undefeated on the season. Cold Spring Harbor 4-0. Syosset 3-0. You see Calabria with the instructions. They've got to defend. So important here to stop. Now again, this is only the second man-up opportunity for Cold Spring Harbor, but guess what? They scored on their only man-up opportunity. Bond in a jovial mood. He was a madman just a few minutes ago. As you see, his assistant coaches drawing up what they hope to be the winning play. And that huddle is what they expect Cold Spring Harbor to run. Will it be Spear on the dodge? Will it go to Rogers or Otimo? Maybe it's C.J. Riley. Riley had that last shot that went wide. 10-10 the score. This the 18th matchup between these two teams. Cold Spring Harbor has a 9-8 lead. That's how tight these games have been throughout the years. Who wants to be a hero? The coaches will say it's just a non-league game. It doesn't really matter. It's hard to believe that with 57 seconds left in a tie game. Jaraputo will put the ball back into play. And there is Riley. I would put my money on Riley getting this last shot. He's spinning his stick, waiting for the ball. He gets it now. The sophomore hands off to Jaraputo. Back to Riley. 35 seconds. Riley. 23. Gets it back. We're going to start to see some of that movement. Off-ball movement. Spear with a cut. Otimo as well. Cross-field pass. Gagne steps in. Gagne's doubled. It's loose. Ground ball picked up by Syosset. Luca Catolo. Catolo. Hands off. And that is the final buzzer. So there'll still be time left on the man up for Cold Spring Harbor, but it'll be Syosset who look to even up this series at 9. We'll take a quick break after regulation. We'll bring it back to you. You don't want to miss the end of this one. 10-10 going into overtime. Watch the rest of it right.
Are you settling for a boring live stream? Can't see the players' uniforms? No audio? Camera not following the action? Consider a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Our announcers help tell the story of your game.
McCarthy. He's got. Oh, he's in.
Touchdown, Farmingdale.
We feature multiple camera angles, guaranteed to capture all the action.
Touchdown, Oceanside!
Plus added features like graphics, instant replay.
Yeah, the shooters are going to shoot here at Bethpage. And one of many threes on the day.
Interviews, and more. It's your time to shine. And with Varsity Media, now you can. Contact us today and book a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Online at varsitymedia.net or by phone 516-403-2050.
Here we go. Extra lacrosse. We'll have 4 minutes on the clock. 2 seconds. Man up. No face-off to start overtime. It'll be Syosset ball. Two years ago, it was Cold Spring Harbor with an overtime win. So back-to-back games in this series, we go extra lacrosse. Buetti, hands off, and we are even. On steps Nicky Accardo. Buetti. A.J. Alexander has 2 late-game winning goals. Will he get an overtime goal as well? It's up top. DiStefani, doubled. It's loose on the carpet. Ground ball. Is there a push? There is. It will stay with Syosset. Buetti to Alexander. He draws Pisano as the pole. Goes to Buetti. DiStefani up top. There's Stadler. Backs up. He's got Bruno on him. Draws the slash. The double comes as well. Peels off of that. Quick ball movement. Pass broken up in the passing lane. DiStefani looking for a call. Doesn't get one. Nicky Accardo up top. It's Stadler. A.J. Alexander. Hands off. It's Garone. Garone, low shot, blocked in front. Ground ball picked up. There's Pisano. Pisano gets on his horse. He's got the green light. Pisano, hands off. Loose again. Bond wants a timeout, and he gets one. Bond was screaming for that timeout. As soon as that ball hit the carpet, he gets it. And now Cold Spring Harbor has a chance to get to the drawing board and work up a winning play here. They had a timeout late in regulation to try to get that man-up goal. Were not able to get one there. And Syosset had the opportunity just a moment ago to end this game after killing off that penalty. But they weren't able to get a clean look as, again, the polls, you got to give credit to both teams' polls. For Syosset, that means Lefkowitz at the long stick midi and Singer, Catolo, Zuleta as well. Jack Hine, defensive midfielder, has done a great job as well. For Cold Spring Harbor, it's all about Jesse Phelan and Patrick Pisano to start. But then you've got Cole Longo as that third close D, a Coastal Carolina soccer commit. You got James Celestino who walks on, Caden O'Connor and Theo Torres as long stick middies. So here we go, off the timeout. 2:34 left in the first overtime. Riley has the ball. He's got the short stick and Hine on him. Referee wants to make sure we got everybody on, and we do, and here we go. Riley steps in, back out. Hine shadowing him. Gets it back from Spear. Riley on that trajectory to be one of the next best at Cold Spring Harbor. Bouncer by Spear is wide. The backup there, though, so the Seahawks maintain possession. It's Jaraputo. He's got Zuleta on him. They work it back up top. A little jab step by Riley to create an inch of space from Hine. Riley cuts inside. The double comes. To the left is Gagne. He is open. Spear can't get it to him. Turns. Spear fires into the stick of Greco. The quick outlet. Here comes Syosset. Nicky Accardo has it. They have a timeout to use, and they will do so now. How about that defensive work? And what a save by Greco as well. You see it again. Spear falls down, still has it, turns. Here's that shot. What a great job by Greco making the save, and also the great distribution as well by Greco. He will go to IMG Academy next year to play that postgraduate year. It's expected, Calabria expects, that he will be a big-time Division I player after that. He's one of those guys who was sorely, or who the lost year really badly affected him, because that was an entire year of recruitment that he just didn't get. So he'll look to have that postgraduate year in a year's time. Massive save by him here. And Syosset on the attack with 90 seconds left in this first overtime. Certainly plenty of options here for the Braves. We've detailed Alexander's ability in late game situations, a pair of game-winning goals. Buetti, Garone, Accardo, DeStefani's had a hot hand today. Here we go. It's Alexander. He is inverted. Pisano on him. Double comes. Alexander. Hands off. It's Buetti. He's got room to move. Buetti back up top to Alexander. I thought Buetti, as DeStefani lost it for a second, Bruno checks him. I thought Buetti had the lane to go to the cage. Did not. Under a minute left in this first overtime. DeStefani from X. Double comes. Turns. Still has it. It's loose. What a play by Longo. Longo. They go pole to pole. Jesse Phelan. Phelan crosses midfield. Gets in as well. And now Cold Spring Harbor can potentially win it here in the final 30 seconds of this first overtime. Will Spear. His shot early was saved by Greco. Double come, Spear bounces it. And that was wide of the frame. The backup was there. Here comes Cold Spring Harbor. Another bite at the apple. Sidearm shot. Greco again! Otimo denied. Greco goes flying. Empty net. Shot. Goal! Winner! Otimo! It's a good goal. Cold Spring Harbor wins it. It's a controversial ending. You can see Calabria running out. They were saying, the crowd certainly here at Syosset saying that he was in the crease. Greco banged up. Let's take a look. You can see Greco. And I don't know. Unless it was before that, I don't see it. Greco took the challenge. He was trying to win that ball behind the cage. And instead, it's Otimo with the winner. Here is the look before. And let's see if this is where they were saying. There's a shot. Look at a save. And there's the battle for the loose ball. Was there a Cold Spring Harbor player? I didn't see it. But regardless, Otimo with the winner. And congratulations to Dennis Bond, his 300th career win as a head coach. It's a special one for Bond, especially coming against Syosset. And let's take a look again at those coaches if we can in a moment. The list is a tremendous one. Bond said to me, you know, he's been coached and he's had a lot of special coaches throughout the year. He's worked with Tom Flatley and Doc Doherty as well, and Danowski when he was at Hofstra. He said he's been around the best. He joked where he said, as you see it there, 300th win by Dennis Bond. Everything I know, he said, I stole it from all of those guys. But you know what? Bond deserves the credit. His 300th career win, joining a list that includes the great Joe Kuzo, Scotty Craig, and others. Congratulations to Dennis Bond. Cold Spring Harbor with the win. That does it here for us at Syosset. For Angelo Caiazzo, for Ben Turchin, and for Brian Butler, I'm Dylan Butler thanking you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it. And again, a huge slate of games ahead. You want to make sure you just stay tuned here to the Varsity Media Sports Network. That's it from Syosset. Have a good night, everyone.
Are you settling for a boring live stream? Can't see the players' uniforms? No audio? Camera not following the action? Consider a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Our announcers help tell the story of your game.
McCarthy. He's got up. He's in.
Touchdown, Farmingdale.
We feature multiple camera angles, guaranteed to capture all the action.
Touchdown, Oceanside.
Plus added features like graphics, instant replay.
Yeah, the shooters are going to shoot here at Bethpage. One of many threes on the day.
Interviews, and more. It's your time to shine. And with Varsity Media, now you can. Contact us today and book a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Online at varsitymedia.net or by phone